Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to another episode of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs, where I am sure they will be talking about all of the Game 5s coming up in the NBA playoffs. My Knicks got spanked the other night, so I ain't trying to hear shit nobody has to say about basketball. The NFL schedule comes out. The Dallas Cowboys open up the season against the Cleveland Browns. I believe the Chiefs play the Ravens. Are the only two games I've seen. But other than that, it's all about pro wrestling here on Boot to the Face. Chris Rucker again, EJ Reed. EJ, how the hell you been the past couple weeks?
Man, I've been doing well, man. Not a whole lot going outside of sports. I mean, I just went to a fight this past weekend. That was fun.
UFC, right?
Yeah, St. Louis. You know, they have that synergetic relationship with WWE. I think they just hit a lot. They just go back and hit a lot of markets that the WWE hit, because WWE was just in St. Louis in that same building a couple months ago. So I think they just make the rounds like that. So
shit, the whole town.
You in St. Louis, man.
I hate it. Well, you just brought up something that made me think. WWE, UFC. Your boy Dana White was on TV the other day, and he said weekends in WWE and UFC are about to change. We're about to start doing Power Slap on Fridays, UFC on Saturdays, and WWE's going back to Sundays. You think there's any truth to that rumor? And how do you feel about it? Because I'm gonna tell you now, I don't fucking like it.
When did Dana White say that?
He said at a press conference last weekend during fight week.
I don't know what good could come out of that, really, especially if you're not running the same city. Like, what's the point? I know you've been a fan of the Saturday pay-per-views, and going back to Sunday, that would just suck a lot.
Fuck everything up. Yeah.
Go back to work.
Here's my thing. One, Dana White said it. I hadn't heard anything from WWE. Two, you look at the WWE pay-per-view schedule the rest of this year, they're all on Saturdays. They got their schedule that they got released right now, everything's on Saturday. And three, here's why I don't think it's a good idea for WWE. They're doing the big four pay-per-views in the United States, basically. All the other pay-per-views are overseas somewhere, and they happen at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Could you imagine on a Sunday you going head-to-head with all the NFL football on 1 o'clock in the afternoon? That's just a bad business idea.
Well, to give like a counterpoint to that, I'm sure they'll schedule it where they only do the foreign PLEs and during the spring and the summer and the winter, and they probably will save the domestic ones for Sunday for like you said, when football's going on for the fall. But still, even if you do it in the fall, you're still competing with Sunday night football.
Exactly. You already got to compete with Monday night football, and now you're competing with. I'd rather go against college football than NFL any day of the week if I own WWE.
But maybe it's not a lot of crossover because they've been doing Sunday pay-per-views until the past 2 years or so. So maybe.
But since they've switched to coincide with how good the programming is being, they're doing a lot better with viewership too, though. Like, I guess that they have flexibility because without pay-per-view buys as a metric now, people can just go back and watch it whenever they want. Like, if the Cowboys are playing on Sunday night, I could just watch the Cowboys game, stay off of social media, don't listen to, podcasts and shit like that the next day, and just watch it when I get home from work. But who wants to do all that? Like Saturday night's right there.
Yeah, and you're right. Uh, I don't know. I think everybody's been spoiled with the Saturday nights, and not too long ago was Sunday, and AEW still do Sunday, even though we do hate it just because they go so long. But WWE, they don't go long. So as far as like being up late, you don't have to worry about that. But more so, I guess, like you said, football. You don't want it to clash with your football schedule because you're so used to it not clashing the past couple years.
Yeah. Why ruin a good thing, man? It's like if the NFL were to move the Super Bowl to Saturday, actually, uh I just remembered something. I read the other day that Roger Goodell wants to move the Super Bowl back a couple weeks so it'll coincide with President's Day weekend. That way you'll have that following Monday off. I think it's President's Day that's
Yeah,
close
it
to.
is.
Yeah, he
No,
wants
I
to
heard.
move it back a couple weeks when they go from 17 games to 18 games, add another bye week in there, make the playoffs a little longer, and then they'll have the Super Bowl go to President's Day weekend where the majority of the country will have the Monday off following the Super Bowl. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, it should have been a holiday already, but I
Mm.
heard that. I mean, I heard it's not just because to make it a holiday. I just heard just they're going to add that extra game is just going to have a trickle down effect where it happens to fall on that Sunday, like you said.
Well, they'd have to add in the X. They'd have to matriculate the schedule a little bit in order to make it happen that way. And I think that's what he's getting at. Like, yeah, we're gonna add the extra game. Like, we all know that's coming, but in order to do that, we're also gonna do it this way to where the majority of the country can enjoy the Super Bowl and not have to worry about it. And I think it's stupid. The Super Bowl starts at like 7 o'clock at night. Like, give me a 6 o'clock, give me 5 o'clock. Like, why we gotta sit around waiting all day?
I guess they, trying to give credence to the people over there on the West Coast.
Fuck them.
Well,
I
you
take
said
that
it.
back.
I was gonna
I
say you
take that
said it
back
first.
because I love West Coast times when it comes to sports. Like, I love it. If I had my way, I'd wake up every Sunday at 10 a.m. and I'd be watching football.
Yeah. No, I hate it. I almost agreed with you. I'm like, what are you talking about? I used to live
See, I
over
thought you
there.
didn't like it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't. I don't like that. I used to live over there. It's too damn early. I like it at noon. Give me noon. One's not
Really?
bad, but I like it where I'm at now, where it starts at noon. Cause I like to clean and stuff. Maybe I want to watch a little church, stream a little church service or something. And 10, that's too early. I'm still wiping the crust out my eye.
Only church we know about on Sundays is football during the fall time. That's the only religion we know. Pigskin.
All right, you get struck down on the Zoom.
I ain't worried about it. If if God's worried about me saying football on Sundays and all the other shit going on in the world,
That's very true.
his priorities are way messed up. You got motherfuckers running around doing all kind of shit. And you mad at me because I want to watch football?
Hey, you got a point. But yeah, I wonder if Dana White leaked it out before they made it official. But he pretty much does whatever he wants.
I mean, I don't think Dana White's got any more say so over like The Rock. Like, is Dana White a fucking board member at TKO? Or is he
I
just
think
president of UFC still?
that's a good point because I know he's still president. I think once Zuffa sold to Endeavor, I think he sold he sold all his shares. I don't even know if he was ever a board member now that I think about it, because he's always been the president, but he was a shareholder when they were with Zuffa. So
Yeah,
yeah,
see, Dana White's basically Triple H. The Rock is board member on TKO, which is above UFC. So Dana White's basically the Triple H figurehead of UFC.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, I don't see Triple H coming out being like, and this is what's gonna happen with the UFC. So why the fuck is Dana White doing it?
He's, even though he's probably not a board member, I don't think he's a board member. He probably, real cozy with the board members and shareholders. So I'm sure he wouldn't say something unless he had some intel on it.
Or he was drunk. That's been known to happen.
On a in a, you said it was a business call or
It was
like
a
a
press
press
conference. Like
conference.
it was either before or after the UFC fight this weekend. He
I'm
could have
not
been
the
drunk.
I'm not the biggest Dana White fan, but he's pretty. He doesn't. I'll lie because he does say stuff
Yeah,
out of, emotional at a spur of the moment. But I don't think he'd be drunk at a press. I've never seen him drunk at a press conference. He's just an asshole.
he could just be a functioning alcoholic.
Well, I don't know why we making excuses. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
why we just trying to like
psychoanalyze this motherfucker.
psychoanalyze the fact that they're probably gonna move back to Sunday. I don't think he would say nothing that's not true or not pending. Because I've heard rumors of this before he even said that this past weekend, or them wanting to do stuff, run stuff the same weekend as each other. So
Why
no,
though? What's advantageous about that? Like, don't y'all got enough money? Like, leave us alone. We
no,
enjoy what's happening right now. Like, I'm not
no.
a big UFC guy like you are. I don't do the UFC like I used to. Like, I used to love UFC. I used to watch the Ultimate Fighter. We go to Hooters and shit and watch all the pay-per-views. But ever since all my people retired, I've never like gotten back. Like John Jones was the last of the people that I liked, and he fucking can't pass a drug test. So
I mean, he's fighting in November.
yeah,
Speak on a
but
goat like that.
I love John Jones, but the fact of the matter is he's gonna come out, he's gonna whoop somebody's ass in November, and then December 1st, he's gonna fail a drug test, and it's not gonna count. Like it's pointless to watch, it's pointless to pay for it.
That happened like 6 years ago.
That's the only time that he's done that where he's failed a drug test.
So he failed a coke test back in 2014, 2015-ish. And then he got knocked for uh, a steroid back in 2017. That was the last time.
That was the last time he fought what's the fat
That
dude's
was
name?
that was Daniel Cormier.
That was they fought 7 years ago. God damn, it seems like it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. And then they retroactively said that he didn't cheat, so that win should actually count.
How the fuck does that work?
The amount that he had in his system was like a picogram, like not even a amount would make you even competitively have an advantage. So they retroactively said that he didn't cheat. So
Well, okay, educate me then, EJ, because I'm uneducated fight guy. So here's a question: if the amount that he had in his system at the time of the drug test was legal or not enough to get in a competitive advantage, isn't the whole point of doing the drug to get the competitive advantage during your training and all that? Not necessarily just to fight, but you're doing the drugs during your training camp, which are like 12 weeks long.
you do cycle on and cycle off, but even cycling off, you would still have a higher amount of trace than what he had. There's no way you could wipe that amount out of your system. I get what you're saying, but like you said, 12 weeks, but it is what it is.
Yeah. See, that's the only thing I don't like about that kind of stuff is like you pour all that into a fighter like John Jones or like Brock Lesnar when he fought who was it, Mark Hunt, and you watch him, he beats the shit out of him, and then like 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, he failed the drug test, it doesn't count. You're like, I just spent all these weeks talking shit, collecting my. Also, like, how does Vegas go about that? Do they want their money back if you
No,
fucking?
I was looking because I was actually just looking that up because the Ryan Garcia thing that just happened, he got popped. Nope. If you bet, that bet stands. Even if they get it, even if it gets overturned.
Well,
so you should have luck.
and you can hear about this and more on Haymaker MMA every when do y'all come out? Thursdays?
Well, we come out Wednesdays after
Wednesdays.
Boot to the Face.
Wednesdays on YouTube, and I'm sure they got audio. Haymaker MMA, you can Google them, and more educated people than me will be talking to EJ.
Yeah, we're not MMA combat sports. We talk boxing too, so check it out.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Yeah, that's coming up July. I heard they had a little press conference with a little shithead kid was asking him inappropriate questions.
Oh, I didn't see any of that. I just saw the face off where Tyson was just looking like I was literally about to say, I'd fucking love to look like Tyson at 50 something years old. I'd love to look like Tyson at 40 years old. This motherfucker is ripped.
Yeah, man. That's crazy too, because he smokes a lot of weed. You think he would have like the munchies and just be eating up a storm.
You know, I talked to a couple people that work out a lot that also smoke weed, and they tell me that their workouts when they're high are the best work. Just lifting weights though, not doing like
Cardio.
cardio and high intensity interval training, but like when you're just lifting weights, they tell me that smoking weed is like the best fucking pre-workout you can have for it. It's just zoned in.
Huh. That's interesting. I like
Yeah.
to see the science behind that.
It could just be how these people react to it. Like
Yeah.
I don't smoke weed or anything, but I remember when I did, like I would always get sleepy. So I don't know how you could go to the gym and fucking put 225 on the bench press and just just go with no spotter. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's probably a case by case scenario. That'd be funny if they feel like they're getting a good workout. Everybody from the outside perspective, the form is terrible.
it's like like a TV show, like they're laying there and in their head they got like Eye of the Tiger playing their fucking headphones. They look just like Rocky, but then you see it from somebody else's perspective and they look like they're on the fucking spectrum and they're working out.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But yeah, man. Back to the point of them being on the same weekend. What if they had like a mega event? Because from the way you describe it, I think that they're not going to be in the same cities. They're just going to be running things the same weekend. But what if they did like a Vegas blowout where they did a WWE event on Sunday in Vegas and then UFC on Saturday in Vegas?
Who's got the money for that kind of shit though?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, like WrestleMania, for example. You were at WrestleMania. I think a lot of those people save up for WrestleMania weekend and just be like, I'm gonna hit GCW, CZW, ROH, NWA. I'm going to Mania both nights. I'm doing WrestleCon. Like people have the budget for that shit. Now you want to throw a whole ass a UFC ticket is probably the cost of like 5 indie shows at WrestleMania.
Oh, it's definitely even for a fight night. I wasn't even at a pay-per-view. I was at a fight night this past weekend. The prices were ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know, man. I think.
I mean, but like you said, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like you said, everybody does that on a WrestleMania weekend. They wouldn't do that on a WrestleMania weekend if they're gonna run the UFC because they can't because WrestleMania is Saturday. What if they did it like for like a SummerSlam weekend and you go to those other indie events anyway? So all of those events added up would be a UFC ticket.
Yeah, but you and me both know that people like you are you're like a unicorn in the fandom. Like not every wrestling fan gives a fuck about UFC, and UFC fans definitely like look down on pro wrestling fans. So you'd have to find the perfect city with the perfect overlap of fans that like both. Like some of us are like I'm a hardcore wrestling fan. I'm a casual MMA fan. Like I'll watch the big shit. I'm not paying to go see UFC on wrestling week. Like if I go to Chicago for Money in the Bank or something like that, and UFC's there, I don't give a fuck. Like that Saturday, I'm gonna be somewhere drinking, not watching UFC. But that's me. But you would have to find the perfect city with the perfect mix of people that want to do both.
I think it's far more not a lot more crossover, but some more crossover than you may think. Because I think if you run a SummerSlam's always in stadiums. I think there's a lot of WWE fans that are UFC fans, maybe not vice versa, because I don't know, some elements in there that are similar. But I've talked to a lot of WWE fans. They're like, yeah, I watch UFC, but I don't know if I've spoken to a lot of UFC fans. And like, like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So if you're filling up a stadium, what SummerSlam usually does 50,000, you don't think it'd be some crossover that would fill up that Bridgestone arena? I'm giving Nashville an example. I was using Nashville for example for some reason. That's something we went to, but like they were at the Titan Stadium. You don't think they could fill up the Predator Stadium that holds about 18 with like a lot of people that maybe went to SummerSlam that held 50,000.
Again, it's like you got people traveling to it though. These aren't locals that are. I mean, there's probably locals that'll be there, but for the most part, like the big four pay-per-views in WWE are traveling destinations. So you're spending all that money on travel and the tickets that are probably going to be highest. Like WWE tickets, by the way, are going up like a motherfucker. Like they're ridiculously high for these PLEs now.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not dropping 300 a pop on a UFC ticket to sit in the 300 section. Sorry. Like, not after I've paid for travel and hotel and tickets and food and alcohol and whatever else you got to pay for. Now I got to buy a UFC ticket on top of that. Like, I don't, to me, it just doesn't seem like a good idea. You want to have them on the same weekend in different cities? Cool, whatever. Have UFC on Friday nights, have WWE on Saturday.
That's definitely not happening.
Put UFC on Sunday.
That's definitely not happening either.
Yeah, why does UFC get the precedent over WWE?
Hey, Saturday night is all right for a fight. I don't see fights ever moving off of Saturday, boxing and MMA.
Watch Collision.
Yeah, that's still a weird move. You know, Saturday used to be the wrestling night, but I don't know why Tony Khan picked Saturday. But
I feel like Collision would do well if they moved to Sunday night.
I
Even
think
with
so too.
even with football coming up, I feel like they would do well moving to Sunday night.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think so. Nobody, it's you know, it's crossover with football fans, but I think there's a lot of wrestling fans that don't watch football. And Sunday night, you're inside because you're getting ready for work.
mhm,
I think we'll bump them up like a good 1K probably. But what did I
100K.
know? What did I know? That's what I meant. 100K. My bad.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what did I know?
Get them back up to 500,000. I wouldn't be. I mean, that's a good number for a Sunday night cable wrestling show. Whether people want to admit it or not, because then you have to take into account social media views and streaming services and stuff like that. So just a regular cable. I mean, shit, Raw's only doing like 1.5.
Yeah, that's always the WrestleMania kind of layover. It is what it is, I guess.
All right, EJ, let's get into some wrestling talk. It's been a minute. Let's just go ahead and jump right into Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm the one that listed it, but I can't even think of anything off the top of my head.
I can tell you what, I was just finishing up Monday Night Raw, and I almost picked Liv Morgan again.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan in leggings and high heels. That's a good look. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's a good look. But I'm gonna go with Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane was looking fly this week. Had a little half jacket on, little what do you call it, halter top, like baggy. They weren't baggy, but they were baggy pants. She was looking dope.
You said Kairi Sane kept. Oh yeah, because she accompanied. They both two Damage Control members had matches, right?
Yep, Io Sky and Dakota Kai.
Huh. I'm trying to remember. What did Io had a match? Didn't she come back
she
out?
She's wearing her wrestling gear.
Oh, she still had her wrestling gear on.
Yeah.
Who should I go with? I think I'll go with Toni Storm.
What was she wearing?
Toni Storm. She had her little outfit on when she came out and Serena Deeb put her in her place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go with Timeless Toni Storm. I was gonna pick Liv Morgan because you didn't, but not until she turns full heel.
She is full heel.
She's still slapping hands with the fans.
She left Becky in the ring to fucking get jumped, and then she attacked her from behind. How's it not a heel?
Then she still slap hands with the fans.
That don't make her not a heel.
Yeah, so she knocks that off. So we're going Timeless Toni.
I ain't mad at anytime you pick Toni Storm. Can we talk about something random real quick? Can we talk about Mariah May?
Yeah, what about her?
She is fucking hilarious.
Really?
Have you seen her on social media?
Mm-mm.
So she's been flirting with Anthony Bowens.
He's
Like,
gay.
okay, let me get to it. So he posted something. He responded to a tweet that was it was like, don't you miss going to the movies and rents? It was a Blockbuster tweet. And he was like, yep. And she quote tweeted him and was like, you don't have to worry about that. Why don't you just come over to my house and I'll introduce you to Netflix and chill or some shit like that. So he posted a picture of him and his partner kissing, and she quote tweeted it with a picture of her and the chick she's always making out with on AEW. And she said, now what? Like, like, yeah, I get it, you're gay, but I'm still talking about us. Like, what you want to do? I don't know. I just think she's hilarious. And she's had really good matches the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't really know what direction they're going with, because obviously they're probably going to try to have her feud with Tony, but I don't think that should be for a title.
I mean, if you've listened to our show the past couple months, I wouldn't say critical of her. I've just been trepidatious about putting the eggs into the Mariah May basket because she just seemed very new when she first got here. But I think she's fucking coming into her own, man. Like, who she wrestled not this past week, but the week before that. It was like a hard hitting match. Who the hell was it? I'm
Oh, was it Harley?
Was it her and Harley Cameron?
Yeah, they just had a match last Wednesday.
This past Wednesday?
I might have been. We had a week off. If it wasn't this past Wednesday, it was the Wednesday before last.
Yeah, she wrestled somebody and they were beating the shit out of each other. It might have been Harley Cameron, which is a surprise because Harley Cameron's another funny one too. That she's just very hilarious. So seeing them get good ring work is working. But yeah, I think Mariah May is destined. She's gonna be a big star in AEW if they keep her on this trajectory.
Yeah, but what are they doing with Mercedes Money? She's hurt though. She's hurt.
Is she?
Yeah.
She hadn't wrestled. How's she hurt?
Well, that's why she's not making her debut to Double or Nothing, just to seal up, make sure she's completely recovered from that injury.
So, as a Sasha Banks fan, a huge Sasha Banks fan, like it was like Becky, Sasha Banks, like they were right there with each other. But she had so many starts and stops. It's starting to become. How can I compare this? This is an awful comparison. All right, but I'm gonna preface this with this comparison is awful. But I was a real big R. Kelly fan. You know that.
This is a bad comparison.
This is a bad comparison, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I thought his music was ridiculously good. And every time there were like whispers of him doing shit, I would just be like, well, nothing's like official or whatever, and his music's still really good. So you kind of hope that it's not true. And
I mean, I
you
don't know how
hope
I mean to cut you off. I don't know how he got away with it so long. We saw the video in 2002. It took them to what, 2 years ago? That's crazy.
Oh, he was that trial happened and he was innocent during that.
Yeah, only because she said it wasn't her, the girl in the video.
Okay, I don't want to rehash all that because it's awful everything that he did, but
yeah,
you're just like because I didn't know, not just me, but like people, you don't know one way or the other. It's just like rumors and people say shit, and you're just like, well, I hope that's not true. And then you find out it is true, and you're like, that motherfucker, that's awful, right? I find myself starting to lean towards the people that are so negative towards Mercedes about like she's not wrestling and she's not just everything negative people are saying about her, and you're like, well, that's not true. Like, I don't know that she's bad backstage. I don't know that she's hard to work with. I don't know all this stuff. And she's been in AEW for 2 months and she hasn't done shit. And like, it doesn't look like from the outside looking in, it doesn't even look like she's trying. Like, she comes out and she does a little fucking over and over again, like cool. She's not cutting good promos. She's not doing good acting. Like her appearances are brief, if at any. And it's just like you start hearing all this shit. Tony paid her $10 million a year and all that. What the fuck did he pay her for?
We don't even know if those rumors are true, if he's paying her that much. But
I'm sure he's not. That's a lot of fucking money. But the rumors of her being the highest paid female talent ever, I think, are true.
Yeah.
And to me, he's not getting a good return on his investment right now. She's been there for 2 months.
Okay, if she can't wrestle, to play devil's advocate, what do you want? What do you want her to do? She's never been the best promo. I think once she gets in the ring, I think we'll start to see Showtime. I think she needs to do kind of what Edge is doing, because everybody kind of shitted on Edge when he first got in, but I feel like Adam Copeland's been cooking the past 2-3 months.
I have a suggestion.
What's that?
First off, I shit on Edge all the time. Trash. Secondly, if she can't wrestle, why bring her back?
They wanted to try to pop a rating.
So you did all that for one rating for one night to sell out one building?
Yeah, we all know how Tony is reactive and reactionary. That's probably not a real word, but he's an emotional guy and he just goes off on a whim and does stuff.
I don't know, man. That's just bad to me. Like, why just have her out there? And then she comes off as such a heel too. Like, and you're trying to make her a baby face, but she comes off so arrogant and calling herself the CEO, which is all things I like about her. But when you start seeing that shit all the time and there's nothing to pay it off with, it's just like, she better fucking kill it next week for Double or Nothing.
And I think she will. The only thing I really don't like is her doing the secondary title. I'm hoping she does do the little rain dance. It was a chicken noodle soup.
I wish she would go back to doing the little dance she was doing during the pandemic. Like,
what was that?
At least she was trying. Oh, you gotta go back and watch.
Yeah, I don't
remember. When her and Bailey was running roughshod on SmackDown and Raw, she came out one time in this little purple get up. I'm gonna stop.
I don't, cause speaking of like the pandemic, this is off subject, but whatever. I was looking back at like some of the past US champions, like some of them during the pandemic. I'm like, I don't remember like anything before Theory had it. Cause I was looking at like Seth Rollins had it, Bobby Lashley had it after his world title run. I'm like, when the fuck this happened? I don't remember Seth Rollins having this title during. This was after
Lashley was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lashley was feuding with Theory and I want to think and Seth Rollins over it. Like, I want to think they had a triple threat match.
I don't remember any of this stuff. I think they had Ray had it. I remember Ray having it, but it was some other title holders are like, I don't remember these guys having it. And I watched like everything in that period. I'm like, I don't remember any of this.
Pandemic's a fucking blur, man. Like,
but yeah, I mean, I think once Mercedes gets in the ring, and if she's active, I know she's not gonna wrestle every week, but the week she's not wrestling, have not a good promo, but still be on TV. But once she starts wrestling more regularly and starts putting on the bangers that I know she can have, I think, she'll start to change people's minds a little bit on how she's utilized.
I hope so, because I like her, but I'm just my patience is thin with her right now. Like, if you're not gonna have her wrestle, why even put her out on TV every week? Just do these little stupid backstage shit and interviews and whatnot. Like, have her challenge Willow, show some damn vignettes of her training and shit like that, like rolling around on the ground with all her friends in the ring. Like, do some of those type things. Why you gotta trot her out there to do the same fucking thing every week? Show me a training video, like, yeah, my ankle's just now getting better and it's almost at like 98%. And then show her running up some fucking stairs and hills and doing fucking arm drag takeovers and meteors and what, like, practicing, right? Like, give me a comeback video. And then she comes back at Double or Nothing. What's wrong with like a little 5-week series of like show her at the beginning of her training where she's like barely being able to do stuff, and then towards the end, like the Dynamite before Double or Nothing, you show the last training montage where like, oh, she ready now, and then she comes out and talks shit to Willow.
That's a good idea. I mean, didn't they bring in that woman from WWE just for her? maybe she's working with the whole women's division because maybe like half glass half full, half empty, even though she's really not the focal point right now. That's kind of, I guess, like a good thing for the women's division in general. That means you got multiple things going on. Like you said, they have Mariah May going on, you got Deeb and Tony going on, you still got Deanna and Thunder Rosa, and you got I said Mariah May, but you got Harley Cameron and Saraya doing their weird stuff. So, starting to see some stuff with the women.
Yeah, but all that what you said is true. But both things can be true, which is, I think, to this point, besides her first night there, the Mercedes Moné experiment has been a dud in AEW. And I hate saying that because I fucking love her.
And that's where patience. It's been 2 months now. If we having this conversation a year in, I'm like, all right, Rucker, you're right.
If we're in this conversation a year in and her ass ain't wrestled.
No, I'm just saying if it's not working, if she has been wrestling and it's still not working, but it's 2 months. Like I said, it took Adam Copeland a little bit of time, but I've been hearing rave reviews from what he's been doing lately. So
I don't know who you've been hearing that from.
You don't like him, of course. You're not gonna say it.
It's a lot of people I don't like that I give credit to. Look at Jordan Grace.
What's she been doing lately? And I watch Impact on a regular basis.
Whenever she puts on a good match, I fucking come on here and I say it, even though I don't like her.
Well,
I even give your boy Punk credit every now and then. I can't stand his ass.
I never remember you giving Punk credit. Only thing you gave him credit for is basically coming back tonight. The way he came back at Survivor Series, that was it. Speaking of Punk, I don't know where they're going with him and McIntyre.
I guess you couldn't hear that, could you?
Uh-uh.
You couldn't hear that?
Uh-uh.
Let's see if we can get this right. Yeah. Oh, that's why. That's why. Here we go. I'll get you. I'll put you on game. Can you hear that? Can you hear me now?
I cannot. We have to work out the kinks later.
You can't hear me, or you can't hear what I'm doing.
I can hear you, but I can't hear any like sound effects or anything.
Here we go. Here's me giving CM Punk his credit. You ready?
Yeah. I heard something very faint. And I can't hear nothing.
Well, I was playing his return to the ring for AEW. I even have it as a drop because it was so dope. People chanting his name, going crazy when he came out. I still watch that every now and then.
That's the only time you give him credit. Both his recent returns, AEW and WWE.
His WWE one was shit. I didn't like that one at all.
But then only one time you give him credit.
Hey, I'm fair. CM Punk returning. It's cool to watch. Like if you just want like a feel good wrestling thing to watch, the last 3 minutes of like Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and then the celebration afterwards is always good. Like I still to this day, Byron Saxton was so fucking good on commentary that night. What else is a good one?
Not Cody winning.
The last couple matches, the last couple minutes of Sting versus the Young Bucks, where he's fucking kicking out of everything, and Darby comes back in and they win the match. Like, just good feel good moments in wrestling. And CM Punk is up there with two of my favorite people of all time.
Well, there you have it. Rucker's one compliment of CM Punk on the books. I'm about to clip this for TikTok.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna say that I liked the CM Punk comeback. And you know what I liked even more? The fucking downfall that happened after. So I can say I told you so. The guy's a piece of shit. Been saying it for years. He's a shithead, that guy.
Hey, McIntyre would agree with you.
Oh, Drew got put in his place on Monday Night Raw.
By Damien?
Yeah, man.
I don't know how I feel about a Damien face turn. I don't think it's gonna work.
I don't know, but you know who I think they need to take advantage of?
Who's
I've been
that?
I've been saying it for almost a year. Main event Jay Uso, man. This dude is so fucking over.
Yeah, with the lights out and the cold crowd, they brought the France thing back over to the States.
I was thinking as I was driving the other day, and I was like, I wonder because I don't know if you've seen this. There's been a lot of fucking Jay Uso hate on the internet lately. Like all of a sudden he can't wrestle, and he only does a couple moves, and he's mid. And I
It,
knew the Yeek thing was gonna wear thin on people, but like people acting like Jay ain't a fucking 15-year veteran that's put on like bangers, and he wasn't the fucking most important person in the biggest storyline in the past couple years. Like he ain't main evented all these big pay-per-views. Like, dad, like he just came out, started dancing and waving his hands around and got over.
Jay is big time, and he does put on big time matches. But is there a little truth in there though? Like maybe his tag team wrestling kind of hit some of his deficiencies. Does he? Does he have a whole lot of moves?
Who does? Like
Dragunov,
besides
Gunther.
Gunther does. Dragonoff, I don't know enough about him, but like, all right, I watched Stone Cold Steve Austin punch and kick his way to being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Because after he got hurt his second time, he didn't wrestle worth shit when he was like when Stone Cold was Stone Cold. He wasn't wrestling. He was selling and punching and doing
Yeah.
a stunner.
All he did was brawl. But before that, he got hurt. He like you said, he was a technician before he got hurt.
The Rock did all kind of cool shit when he was on his come up, but once he became The Rock, it was fucking punch you in the face, spit in my hand, punch you, did the little flying clothesline, the rock bottom, the DDT, and the people's elbow, and a weak ass sharpshooter. That was The Rock's moveset.
I
Every
like
now
the
and then he
sharpshooter.
every now and then he might do a little float over DDT. Cody does the Cody cutter, the disaster kick, the fucking what's his move finishing move? The crossroads, the
Mhm.
pedigree every now and then, the
Yeah,
flip
Cody.
flop and fly, which is his dad's move. Like, come on, man. People just like cherry picking shit when they want to hate on it. Like, he's only got this many moves. Everybody's got their signature moves, and you pepper in some other shit in between.
And also Roman. Roman doesn't have a lot of moves like that.
Exactly. People just it was what I was worried about was going to happen to Cody, and it's happening to Jay, which really pisses me off. Is that people are just looking for things to be like, oh, he ain't that good. Like, what are we doing here?
But but what didn't we say? What lives on the internet ain't real. Same thing with people were saying Becky, and she still gets cheered out there when she's in the actual arena.
Yeah, but I wasn't hearing like podcasts that I listened to hate on Becky. I've been
Oh,
hearing podcasts that I listen to hate on Jay Uso, and I'm
really?
just like,
You gonna have to
oh,
tell me that offline.
yeah, I'm just like, is this what we're doing now? Jay Uso is mid? Are we serious? But anyway, this guy is super over, and I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if people were going to start saying the same thing about Jay they said about Seth Rollins, which was, is it his entrance that people were into? But I think with Jay, especially that match last night, and even the match in France, like people were with him the whole time. It wasn't just his entrance. His entrance was dope, but like that whole match, they were cheering for him.
France was you know, kind of like an outlier as far as like everybody was getting that reaction over there. But I get what you're saying. Even the match he had Monday though too, right?
Yeah, like, and then people are mad that he buried Dragonoff.
How
Excuse
did he
me,
bury Dragunov?
because Dragonoff lost and he's only been on the main roster for 3 weeks. And then they start. So this is one of the things that I was reading the most was you look at Dragonoff on the Indies and all this other stuff. He shouldn't be losing to Jey Uso. Let me tell y'all something. WWE don't give a fuck about what Dragonoff did on the Indies. That doesn't count. As far as Dragonoff on WWE TV, he was the champion of a developmental brand, and now he's wrestling a guy that main evented WrestleMania just last year. if you look at it through those lenses, there's no way Dragunov should have beat him.
That's true. I think sometimes people get caught too much up in wins and losses. And in Dragunov's case, he'll be fine. But back to the people that are complaining about his moves and stuff. The same people who saying that are the same people that are probably like, I'm not in the AEW. This is scripted. This is scripted television or choreographed. And I don't watch wrestling for that. I watch wrestling for the storylines. I bet those are the same people that are saying Jay don't have enough moves.
Right.
But that's why you watch the WWE for the storyline. Why are you caught up in his moves if that's what you don't care about?
And like you said, the internet's not a real place. Like, because those people that paid money to go see WWE, not tweeting for free, they paid money, they fucking love them. But I said all that to say this. WWE's got to be careful because he's taking way too many big losses. And if he loses again next week to Gunther, that's like 4 losses of like importance that he's had since he's been a singles guy. And we were just on here a couple months ago, and I'm saying like all he does is lose since he went to Monday Night Raw.
He loses the big matches. He beats who he's supposed to beat.
Yeah, he's supposed to win the big matches too. Like eventually he's gonna get LA Knighted.
I don't even know if I want to go off on a tangent on that, but nah, he'll be fine. I think he's over enough where wins and losses aren't going to affect him like that unless he starts losing to Otis. Then we have some problems. But we knew he wasn't going to beat Damian Priest over there in France. I don't think he's going to beat Gunther. It is what it is.
I actually think he is going to beat Gunther.
Maybe if they're trying to pair him up with the Bloodline on the other side.
Yeah, I think it's going to be him versus Tama Tonga in the finals.
If he beats Gunther, it's not going to be clean.
It doesn't have to be. Just win. He can do it on a count out. I don't care.
Yeah, it'll be a count out or a DQ or something like that.
Yeah, Kaiser could get him DQ'd. It doesn't. Just get him there. Speaking of King of the Ring, man, or Queen of the Ring, this Queen of the Ring tournament has done nothing for me except for let me know that SmackDown has way more intriguing women than Raw does.
In what sense?
The Queen of the Ring tournament on Raw, I fast forward through, and I don't care who wins. The Queen of the Ring tournament on SmackDown, like right now, you have Nia Jax, who I would love to see win. You got Jade Cargill, who I would love to see win. You got Bianca, who I would love to see win. And you got Tiffy Time, who I'd love to see win. And I don't know how they're going to do it. Is Jade just going to walk through and continue to be undefeated? Or are they going to do some kind of double count out with Jade and Nia and have Tiffany beat Bianca by nefarious means and just end up in the finals? Like, or are they going to have Nia Jax fucking win some kind of way and end up as the queen? I would love Nia Jax as the Queen of the Ring.
Since she didn't get the women's world title, I think they should probably go that route.
She would be so good, and it would be so unexpected because everybody's basically penciling Jade number 1, Tiffany number 2, and Bianca number 3. No, I bet people couldn't even name off the top of their head all the competitors in the Raw Queen of the Ring bracket.
I
probably could.
I couldn't name one of them. Now
Well,
that you said it.
The semifinal or the finals for the Raw side is Lyra Valkyria versus shit. Who's she fighting?
Exactly.
God damn it.
Is she fighting Liv?
No, Liv's fighting Becky at Queen of the Ring.
Oh, is it was it one of those damage control people?
Oh, yeah, she's fighting Io. Duh. She's fighting Io.
There we go.
I mean, cool. Like Io in the finals. Wow. I mean, that'll be good, but do we expect Io to beat Bianca? No. Jade? Hell no. Nia? No. Tiffany? Maybe. Be a good match. But the winner of the Queen of the Ring is going to be from SmackDown.
Yeah, I can't see it being no other person, especially with Io coming off of a championship loss. Like she's already been to the top of the mountain. I feel like Queen of the Ring is supposed to be like next up. That's why I don't see Bianca winning it, even though Nia's won it. But like you said, that'd be so good, her having that Queen moniker. Uh Lyra, I don't know. I feel like Triple H likes Lyra. So maybe she beats Io.
If they had a mid card women's title, I think Lyra would be perfect for that.
I don't even know if she'd be good for that right now.
I do. I think Lyra's like she's who would be a good comparison for Lyra? I
like
don't even know who I can compare it to, but she's like the perfect mid carder for the women's division where she can kind of teeter onto the
mhm,
main event scene, but she
mhm.
never wins in the main event scene.
Like Jay.
Stop that.
He
Don't
just said himself he never wins.
don't do that.
He just said he beats everybody on the mid card level, but he just doesn't win the big ones.
God damn it, you're right. That pisses me off.
Hey, at least he's in the main event. They didn't say he's win big time win main event Jay Uso.
They didn't say
He's
main
just main
event
event.
winner.
He's
Just
just main event Jay
you know,
Uso.
on the t-shirt in the fine print it says main event participant Jay Uso.
Uh,
Yeah,
but
but Lyra, I think she'd be perfect for like a mid card title, or if she could find a tag team partner to be a tag team champion with. I don't see her like being the focal point, but I see her being somebody that if you beat her, it means something. She'll have a good match with you, but you never really expect her to win.
I think she'll eventually will get a world title run. It's this the landscape of WWE is so interesting, and I guess you could chalk that off to modern medicine. Like you'd be like, all right, a sure shot that 5 years down the line, somebody like Lyra will be like a world champion, but like these women are sticking around, so I don't even know 5 years down the line necessarily now.
Yeah. And you got new people like Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill that'll be here 5 years from now. And Bianca will be here in 5 years. Like,
Yeah,
sure,
some
Rhea's only like in her mid-20s. She'll be around. Liv Morgan's in her mid to late 20s. She'll still be around. Like, there's people in front of her now that'll be here when the Beckys and the Charlottes and the Baileys are all gone.
mhm. I was thinking about that on like the Carmelo Hayes side of things too. You got a lot of men wrestlers that'll still be around in 5 years. That Seth, I think he just re-up on his contract. You probably still have Drew sticking around.
Yeah, those are older guys, though. They're a lot older than the women we talked about.
Yeah, but what Drew is 37? Look at AJ is 45 still there. Bobby,
Is Drew only 37?
yeah, he's young. Remember,
Bobby's damn near 50, isn't he?
yeah, he'll probably be Bobby and AJ will be gone, but you still got some people ahead of Carmelo that'll be here in 5 years. So
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that's
know,
two
man.
spots right there that he could fill in for. Randy will be gone by then.
Randy said he wants to wrestle till 50, so he by his standard he'll still be there.
He ain't gonna make it to 50.
Well, that's
I I
pessimistic.
I mean I love Randy Orton. I think he's dope, but like you can see he moves around a lot more stiff than he did before he got hurt.
I
Just
think I
he
think
was
I was gonna say I think if Frick comes up, he might leapfrog Carmelo because that boy over.
yeah, yeah. That's probably why they put the belt on him to keep him in. They can't just blow their load on everybody now. They gotta keep some shit in the barrel. You know what I mean? Like in case some injuries or something like that happens, they got to be able to whoop that trick.
Indeed. But yeah, they got some young talent, and that's good problems to have, though, right?
Yeah, can't be mad at that. Power rankings are going to be very WWE heavy because I didn't talk about this on the show, but my place flooded, which is why we weren't recording last week. So I'm in the process of moving and getting all that shit done. So like I have to be very judicious with my free time. And the Knicks are in the playoffs, so I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch a lot of AEW this week. Um,
You missed out. They had some good stuff. You got the Elite and versus AEW heating up, double or nothing right around the corner, but they weren't wrestling heavy. It was more storyline heavy on Dynamite, more wrestling happened on Collision. But I was gonna say, speak for yourself. With the list being WWE heavy, but you're right. I don't know. My list is WWE heavy as well. Now that I look down at my list,
I don't understand how Brian Danielson's in the Blackpool Combat Club, but he's coming out joining forces with Eddie Kingston, who hates Claudio, right? And who, has a love-hate relationship with, and he had it with Brian Danielson just recently. And
big.
they're teaming up with FTR. Like, what a smorgasbord of fucking random people.
It is a random team, but after Danielson and Eddie feud, they shook hands. So
I
that's how you.
mean, I shake hands with coworkers I don't like all the time. That don't mean I'm gonna help them. They
And
just,
I was gonna say, everybody's saying, "Oh, this is NWS." Everybody takes storylines from everything, so just shut about that. But like when the WCW teamed up, then weren't people that weren't necessarily tight got together to try to face the NWO?
I mean, you had the main players like the Four Horsemen joining up with Sting, Luger, and Macho Man. Like that made sense because they were under attack, like the whole company. This isn't that storyline, but give me some shit that makes sense. To me, it just, I don't know, man. It's like I don't like to say stuff is like hot shot booking and like all the little inside terms and whatnot, but it just doesn't seem well thought out. Like, and I was liking the storyline. Like, I'm finally interested in the Bucks. I think this was a really good way to bring Okada in and not just have him be a babyface that just comes out and wrestles. They give him a little personality. Jack Perry's interesting as hell for the first time. So I'm digging all of that. I just don't dig who they're fighting against.
I think this is just something to further the storyline. Still more meat left on the bone. This is just like a slight detour in the road because I don't know. Besides FTR, Danielson, and Kingston, I don't know who you would put in a Anarchy in Arena against those guys. Because Swerve is occupied with Kristen, which I like. And those are the only two matches I really know about. And the Mercedes matches, like they don't really have a lot of matches announced for Double or Nothing in general. Now I think about it, Tony and Deeb. Oh, Osprey and Roderick Strong.
Yeah,
There's a lot of matches.
you talk about Monet going after secondary title. What about your boy Osprey?
I like that. Then you could, you know how Orange Cassidy built that belt up, have another superstar build that belt up, international, basically like the IC title, so you could keep him and Swerve away as long as possible. If he gets his belt, I could see them maybe not having to do Swerve and Osprey at All In. If he's just that workhorse champion defending that belt, hold that for like a year. Because I want to see Swerve have a nice run. And All In, that's not too far down the road. That's what, August?
Yeah, who would he wrestle at All In then if he does not wrestle Swerve? MJF,
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. That would be good.
MJF and Will Osprey,
I wouldn't be mad at that.
or would MJF go right back to the world title picture?
See, they're stuck in the hard place now. Is MJF gonna come back heel or face?
Shit, I don't know. I don't even know when he's coming back or if he's coming back.
I I said that WWE should trade AJ Styles for MJF. MJF done all he can, and AJ Styles, they don't give a fuck about him anymore. So just trade those two.
I don't think it works like that, EJ.
Why not? UFC traded Ben Askren for Mighty Mouse. Why can't WWE do that?
Guess in theory they could if everybody agrees to it, but like, If I sign on to work for WWE, you can't just trade me to fucking AEW. That's like working for Coca-Cola and they trade you to fucking Dr. Thunder.
I was I was I was halfway joking, but I'm just saying in theory, those two should probably swap companies at this point once their contracts are up. But I don't know when MJF may have signed an extension. I know they probably got a tag time off for injury at the very least.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Man, AEW's changed so much over the past like year and a half.
Yeah. Adam Cole stays hurt. MJF not there. I'm
Punk.
like, yeah, Punk. I'm intrigued with Kenny Omega though.
Yeah, the Omega come. I don't. We haven't been on since Omega got attacked. I love that. I love the. I love this promo. I love them beating his ass. I love him and Okada foreshadowing like a match. Like you can pretty much write that down. Okada and Omega all in.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I was thinking maybe you run Osprey and Omega, but then I thought about Okada. I'm like, nah. So maybe like an MJF for. I feel like not thinking of somebody that Osprey could definitely. Oh, you could definitely run him into Takeshita back in England.
Yeah.
They got options, but yeah. Were we on power rankings? I feel like we went off on a tangent.
Yeah, we're about to do power rankings. I would have met Osprey and Orange Cassidy.
Oh, I think that because remember they did that at Forbidden Door a couple years ago. That one slapped.
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's get into power rankings. You go ahead and you can go first. I gotta come up with mine in my head.
My number 5, the guy we were speaking about a little bit earlier, the Ring General Gunther. He now advanced to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament, beating your guy Kofi Kingston. And what's going on with the New Day right now? I feel like they're just there. Like, why don't they just spin off into like their new group? Not even call it the New Day. It's not the same without Big E.
I think Wood's about to turn on Kofi.
I wouldn't be mad at, or just break them up like in general if you're not gonna have them spin up. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. But yeah, Gunther is my number 5.
It sucked too because if they would have did it a couple years ago, it would have made so much more impact. But now that like New Day's fucking ran until the wheels fall off, it's not going to be as impactful as it would have been.
Yeah, they're
Kind of
hot.
like when Roman came out and announced he had cancer, and fucking Moxley turned on Rollins that night. If one of them would have turned on the other one right after Big E got hurt, I think that would have been great.
Or if they would have did it before Big E got hurt, that would have been real impactful.
Yeah, but they didn't know he was gonna get hurt. So I mean, like, since he did get hurt, he broke his neck, and you didn't know what his status was gonna be going forward. I feel like that would have been the perfect time to just be like, well, fuck it. New Days. And then if he came back, y'all could all reconcile and get back to it. But that would have been some good programming for a few months.
Yeah, but it seems like they missed the boat on that one.
Big time. Big time. My number 5 is going to be Tama Tonga.
Ooh.
First time in the power rankings. My MFP.
Who'd he be on SmackDown?
I don't fucking know. He won the.
I remember him wrestling, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
He beat Randy Orton. Who did he beat?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Carmella, was it?
No, it was a babyface.
It wasn't KO, was it?
Hold on. SmackDown.
And did Tonka Loa come out with him on Friday?
I mean, they definitely cheated. But let's see here.
I mean, yeah, like you said, they cheated. But I remember it. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It was Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah, that's who it was. It was Dawkins. Carmelo beat Baron Corbin. Jade beat Piper Nevin. Bianca beat Candice LeRae. Tomatonga beat Angelo. Randy Orton and AJ Styles.
So we hadn't talked since Backlash. What do you think about Tonga Loa's debut? Because everybody was whispers about Jacob Fatu, and it ended up being Tonga Loa.
I thought that was a good surprise. I really did. I had no idea that he was even available for them. Now we got Gorillas of Destiny in WWE. Even more. Jacob Fatu is signed, they say. So he's definitely coming. We just don't know what side he's gonna be on. Like this bloodline shit's gonna it's just gonna go another 3 years.
Hey, didn't Paul Heyman say third inning a year or so ago?
Yeah.
He wasn't lying. But as far as God, what, you think they're gonna give him an actual tag team name? I think New Japan owns that name.
Well, hopefully they can buy it from him.
I'm,
WWE's been trying to get some goodwill with New Japan, giving them a bunch of shout outs on TV.
maybe, but I don't. WWE likes to put their spin on a lot of things. Well, how about them versus the Usos eventually?
Nah, we gotta give Jay the world title. Fuck Jimmy. My number 4, the Viper Randy Orton gets the win over AJ Styles on SmackDown.
Huh? You stole my number 4. That's my number 4. It was a good match too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing with Randy. I feel like they're gonna eventually have him versus Cody. I know he's not gonna win the King of the Ring. I mean, I think it's gotta be Gunther. I don't see Randy making it to the final either. I don't think him and Gunther face off. So by your logic though, you think Tonga's gonna take out Randy by nefarious means, I guess?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're gonna cheat. They're gonna beat his ass. They might beat him up before the match. He might not even make it to the ring.
Okay. My number 3, he got a big win over Dragunov. Main event, Jay Uso. That's my number 3 spot.
My number 3, Bianca Belair beating Candice LeRae.
Ooh, that's who she beat. Yeah.
A way closer match than it should have been, but here we are. My number 2, Jay Cargill and Piper Nevin put on a good match. Jade's last couple matches, man, she's been in the ring longer than her last 2 matches are probably longer than that 50-match winning streak combined in AEW. Like they're actually having her.
Hold up. What'd you say?
Yeah. If you add the total time of her last 2 matches, it's probably longer than all of her 50 matches in AEW before she lost.
Oh, maybe, but I still think the best match she's had in her career is against Statlander, in my opinion.
Yeah, that rematch was pretty good. Too bad nobody saw it.
Why not?
Because it was on fucking Rampage or whatever. Collision, maybe. It wasn't even on like the main show.
I think it was Rampage because I think, like you said, it was on tape delay.
Right. They knew she was leaving. So Tony was like, fuck her. We'll bury her. We'll bury her in the tape. Have her losing twice when she leaves. Good job, Tony.
I'd do the same thing. Fuck you. You leaving.
I ain't leaving because of me. I'm leaving because of you.
Well, you taking this L on the way out. Deuces. That was your number 3.
That's why Big Swole don't like his ass.
Shout out to Big Swole. Hopefully she's doing well right now. I hadn't seen her. I guess she's doing indie show, right?
That's my number 2.
Number 2. My number 2. This was a match that I enjoyed. Nia Jax went over Naomi on SmackDown. Yeah.
It was a handicap match.
What do you mean?
Naomi had to fight Nia Jax and her fucking sports bra because them things were trying to get out the whole match.
I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Not pay attention to stuff that happens in the match. Every move she did, she literally was like putting her titties back in.
Well, shout out to her sports bra.
Yes, Naomi for fighting the good fight.
My number 2. My number 1 is the rated R superstar, Adam Copeland,
It's disgusting.
Put on a bang of a match
No, he
against
didn't.
Brody King, and then double back and put a bang over match against Kyle O'Reilly, defending that TNT championship. Shout out
Why
to
he
Adam
dodging
Copeland.
Aleister Black? Because he's scared.
Well, he's gonna handle him in a double or nothing. Not, he's probably gonna lose, but at least he'll put up a good fight. So that's my number one.
My number one main event, Jey Uso. Main event Monday Night Raw. Brought the Fireflies back, he said on Twitter. People didn't like that. Maybe that's why Twitter's turning against him. What did he said? Something like WWE tweeted like, did Jey Uso bring back the Fireflies or something? They tweet like a question, and he quote tweeted and said, "Y'all ain't got no damn choice. The Fireflies belong to me now."
He said that?
Yeah, he said he's the yeeter of. He said he's the yeeter of worlds.
He's really trying to piss them off, the IWC.
Yeah, he's showing them they don't matter.
That's hilarious.
When that fucking music hits, everybody in the crowd's waving. I love that the people are getting on the same accord too now. Because remember we used to try to do the little up and down thing, and they'd be all off rhythm. Now they're finally together.
Man, well, it took them a little bit of time.
Except for Pat McAfee, that motherfucker.
That was the main event, though. For some reason, I thought Raw ended a different way.
Huh? Ended with Jey Uso and Gunther eye to eye.
Yeah, I don't see Jay beating Gunther unless he says something nefarious happened, some count out or something wacky.
I mean, he had Gunther beat for the IC title a couple months ago till his brother ran in.
Sounds like an excuse to me.
I mean, what happened?
Super Cena would have overcome all of that.
Jay's not Super Cena though.
Exactly.
I have no rebuttal. We talked briefly about Double or Nothing. You excited for Double or Nothing?
Yeah. I wish we would have been in Vegas a week earlier.
True. Me too. I would have went.
But yeah, Swerve Strickland versus Cody Rhodes. Who's having the most impactful title run so far in their short reigns? Like which story are you feeling more? You got Jake Paul going up against Cody. Looks like it's going to be title for title at King of the Ring. And then, like we said earlier, Christian versus Swerve Strickland at Double or Nothing.
I know it's only been a month, a little over a month since WrestleMania, but I just feel like Cody's not a focal point.
He's not.
Yeah, I feel like he beat Roman Reigns and he's just kind of like a guy now with a belt that's still trying to learn how to carry it correctly. Like, what was up with the way Nick Aldis introduced him too? Did you catch that? If you go back and watch, Nick Aldis is like, "Hey, welcome to SmackDown," right? He's all excited, and then he goes, "Your new WWE Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes." Like he was so like I thought he was so weird with how he introduced Cody when he said, "Your next opponent." I thought he was about to say himself. I thought he was
dope.
I'm your next opponent for the title. But he brought out Logan Paul, which I liked. I think that'll be good, but Cody hasn't really done anything since he's been champion. Like the feud with AJ didn't mean shit. Like the Bloodline's the main storyline. I think the Swerve storyline's really good, especially with the Gates of Agony turning on him, which was kind of preluded by Shane Taylor because the week before when Swerve got jumped, fucking Shane Taylor tagged all of them and was like, "Y'all just gonna let that happen to you, boy?" And I was like, "Oh, well, maybe they weren't there." But then they were, because I think Brian Cage wrestled later that night. So it was like, well, that's peculiar. And then when they came out last week, I was like, watch them fucking turn on them.
Yeah, man. I'm digging that as well. Like you said, I told you this would be the problem with Cody. What next after he wins the title? And lo and behold, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It's only been a month and a half. But if we get to SummerSlam and we're still saying this, then
it was a mistake.
I don't know. They got go ahead.
You did say that, but you weren't arguing with me because I was. If you remember, I wanted Roman to keep the belt because
I want Roman to keep the belt
yeah,
too.
I was in the same boat with you. I was like, what the fuck's Cody gonna do after? Like, this is Cody's like, this is his golden ticket. Like the bloodline. Without the bloodline, he's just Cody. Like, you know what I mean? Like the whole point was in the chase. You said it a million times. The money was in the chase. And now that he's got the belt and Roman's gone, Rock is gone. Like, who can you get to go up against Cody that's gonna match up to be the Rock or Roman Reigns? There's nobody there.
And also, I think they did a horrible job of like splitting up the heels and faces on SmackDown. I guess you could turn people, but I think I don't like booking like that, turning them just to go against a face like that. You got KO, he's a face. LA Knight, he's a face. Randy Orton, he's a face. But there's a story there with the legacy. Like, who's he gonna go against on the SmackDown side like that after Jake Paul?
Is it Logan Paul or Jake Paul?
My bad, Logan Paul. I'm thinking of Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
You got me confused because I'm like, usually I get them wrong. Yeah, I'm more intrigued with Swerve right now than I am Cody. And it's okay though, right? Like for AEW, you should be happy that people are more invested in your world champion than WWE's when WWE is as hot as they are right now. Even if I'm in the minority, the fact that there are people out there like me that are more invested in the Swerve aspect over Cody, they should be excited about that. And they should not hot shot book it and just stay on course, man. I think AEW is very reactionary in how they book. I think they just need to stay on course.
Like you said, outside that weird opponent setup that Danielson and Eddie Kingston being thrown in a match. Besides that, like I feel like they've been doing a good job telling stories, and most the podcasts that I listen to agree with me that they've been doing a well job. Even they kind of turned that video drop thing into a good thing because they ended up tying it back with Jungle Perry. Even though most people say they still shouldn't have done that, and I agree they still shouldn't have done it, but they were still able to kind of like retroactively do it and make it a thing with Jack Perry. But like you said, there was a podcast you listen to where they were like nitpicking on Jay not having any move. There's a podcast that I listened to that I won't name that are like they so much in love with Triple H being in charge of WWE. It's been like this for the past 2 years that they like shit on everything that AEW does, and they shit on like even this Swerve storyline. I'm like, this is good stuff. Like now you're just hugging on Triple H's nuts.
Yeah.
Like
I don't understand that either. Like I watch wrestling and watch wrestling. Like I don't care what company has really good wrestling. Just give me really good wrestling. Like if AEW is gonna put on the shit that I like if AEW gets a bloodline like storyline, I'm gonna be on this motherfucker singing their praises. If NWA gets a bloodline like storyline, like I'm gonna be watching it. TNA, just give me good stories, give me good wrestling, give me good programming, and I'm good with it. I'm not gonna not watch you just because you're a certain company over another company. Like I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I was a WCW guy when I was younger. I still watch Monday Night Raw, but WCW was my shit. That was what I grew up on.
Yeah, I started off WCW. You know, like it was like a slow burn for me, especially when Vince Russo took over in that WCW 2000. I'm like, all right,
That was such a tough watch, but I fucking kept going. I was there to the last episode, but
yeah, I still watched it, but I'm like, man, what is going on here? When they vacated all the titles and everything, I'm like, what is going on, man? What
the
are
New
y'all
Blood versus the Millionaires Club.
Yeah, the minute with Terry on the Millionaires Club side and
Thing, Nash, Luger, basically all the old. They basically took real life young guys wanting to push the veteran guys out and made a storyline out of it.
Wasn't like John Stasiak like one of the leaders of the New Blood? That's
him and Billy Kidman. They had Billy Kidman beat Hulk Hogan.
I remember that. I mean, retroactively looking at it, fuck them.
I mean, Kidman, he was with Tori Wilson, so he had something going for him.
Yeah, I'm glad he beat Hogan.
at her peak, by the way.
Yeah, he
Like
did.
Tori Wilson was for years. I didn't think there was anybody better than Tori Wilson. Everybody was on Trish, even when she was in WWE. Everybody was on Trish, and I remember they would have like little bikini contests versus each other, and I'm like, I'm not seeing how people think that Trish is hotter than Tori Wilson because it was not true. But not that Trish was not attractive because she is, but Tori was just like what the Italian people do. That fucking
Yeah, I was a leader guy,
I was too until Tori got there.
even over Tori. But yeah, he definitely benefited off her like not having a name, and he was able to sneak in there, Billy Kidman. So
I
hats
don't
off
know.
to him.
I'm pretty sure everybody in that locker room was trying to get with Tori. Like she was brought in by Kevin Nash. You don't think Kevin Nash is trying to fucking tell her why, show her why they call him Big Sexy?
True, but I guess Billy Kidman had a game, but
Billy Kidman had the juice.
Billy Kidman, he went from Billy Kidman to A-Rod. Come on.
A-Rod.
Yeah, her and A-Rod were
A-Rod?
yeah.
I didn't know this. This is news.
So,
I knew Stacey Keebler got with George Clooney. I didn't know Tori Wilson was with A-Rod. Tori Wilson's like married now to like a doctor or something like that. Some like regular dude.
yeah. Happens more than you think. Like
Yeah.
they just get tired of doing the celebrity dating thing, and they just marry regularly. But yeah, so hey, I'm sure Billy Kidman will have the memories in his head. That's what he could live for off the rest of his life. As he just kind of disappeared after he had a cruiserweight run in WWE. He's kind of just disappeared.
The wildest play just happened in the Knicks and Pacers game. DiVincenzo missed the three, and a bunch of guys are going for the rebound, and they all just slapped it up in the air, and the ball went in. But they called a foul on the Knicks. So the basket got waved off. They called a foul on the box out.
What's the score on that?
31-25 with a minute 36 left in the
Knicks are up?
Yeah, Knicks are up. They're on like a 10-0 run right now.
Man, times have changed. You got that on your TV. I got Caitlin Clark over here on the side of my TV, the WNBA opener.
Oh, it's the opener? I thought, man, it's them college girl ladies, man.
Quick turnaround.
They didn't get a break at all.
That's how it's always been, though.
They didn't even get to go to training camp. They just fucking you're on the team. Preseason's tomorrow.
Basically, yeah.
Shit. They don't get a break. How do you even like gel with your teammates?
Better get fast tracked and better figure that out.
Yeah. Anything else we need to hit before we get out of here, EJ? It's been an hour and 20 minutes. That's a pretty good time.
Yeah, we hit on everything. I mean, we're kind of revving up for Double or Nothing in 2 weeks, and then King of the Ring same weekend.
Huh? Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, right? So next week we'll do the preview show for Double or Nothing.
I think King of the Ring is that same weekend too, though.
Oh wow, it is. You're right, because I wonder how SmackDown's going to do their semifinals, because they'll obviously be traveling to Saudi Arabia. The SmackDown will be pre-recorded from.
Hold up, ain't the semis this weekend?
No,
you're right. It's the quarters this weekend.
Still in the quarters for SmackDown.
Yeah, it's gonna be on tape delay.
Well, if it's on tape, they'll still have it then. So I don't know how they do that travel schedule unless they do.
Yeah, like you said, when they're in Saudi Arabia, that means they're gonna film 2 SmackDowns this Friday.
Ah, okay.
Because I went to that one when they were in St. Louis. They had to do a Saudi show weekend, and we got to be a part of 2 SmackDowns.
Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering how they did it.
And it's so when they do that, you get out. So a SmackDown ends at 10 p.m. your time. It only lasts for like another hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of filler.
Yeah, a lot of a lot of filler that they do commercials that we don't see because they don't have to do commercials.
And they probably don't do a lot of like backstage shit. They just go match, 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 and
Yeah, they just do
film shit. Yeah,
Mhm. So it wasn't no longer than like a Raw if you factor that in.
I
Because
got you.
Raw is 3 hours. So yeah, that's probably how they're gonna do it. So yeah, we got 2 shows to preview. So it's gonna be a action packed show next week. King
Yeah,
and Queen of the Ring and Double or Nothing.
all previews. Who's your pick for King and Queen in the Ring right now with the people that are left? We'll end the show on that.
I'm gonna take Gunther and I'm gonna go Nia Jax.
Hmm. I was gonna take Gunther, but since you took him, I'll pick somebody else. I'll take Tama Tonga
Hmm.
as the King of the Ring, and then I'll take. You took my other pick too with Nia. It's got to be Tiffy time, right? Heels are the best kings of the ring and money.
Yeah.
It's stupid because all the cool shit, it's only good for the heels to win. Like, you can't have baby faces win money in the bank and then go cash in like nefariously.
Yeah, you have baby faces, but it's not cool because they usually call their shots.
Right.
But no, Royal Rumble is cool for faces to win. But like you said, the fun things like King in the Ring and Money in the Bank, that's like heel.
Another quick thing I've heard on podcasting is people shitting on King of the Ring winners and their main one that they like shitting on is King Booker. And I'm like, since when did we shit on King Booker? King Booker was probably the dopest King of the Ring.
I know. That's like when you could center it around your gimmick and it works because he had his King's Court. I think that was one of the best King of the Rings, actually.
Ended up winning the world title because of it.
Uh-huh.
And
I
like,
can't think of any more. You had the Macho King, that was pretty good.
yeah, Macho King was dope.
Uh I'm thinking the ones in the 90s, King Mabel was not good.
No. Stone Cold literally never wore the crown.
Yeah. Neither did Triple H like that.
He cut the Austin 316 promo. I think Bret Hart put it on when he won, but then he never did it again. Owen Hart was good. He was the king of hearts.
Yeah.
He never, I don't think he kept wearing the crown, but he put it on his tights and shit like that, became the king of hearts.
Holly
But
Race was good.
King Booker, man, that was the best one. And
Yeah.
like podcasts that I like and like respect are like, and then you got stupid shit like King Booker and King Xavier and King Corbin. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't put King Booker and King Corbin in the same thing. Like, what are we doing?
King Booker's probably like the most successful one. Now that you said that, because he got a
And
world title off of it.
I know you don't do action figures, EJ, but the King Booker action figure is probably one of my favorite action figures I've ever bought. I bought it at All In. It's so accurate. Like, looks just like him. He's got the cape, the scepter, the crown. It's even got one little finger that goes up in the air.
But was King Barrett? I wasn't really looking at that. Looking at the product when he was king, was he any good?
Did Wade Barrett win King of the Ring?
That's what I'm saying. He had the king gimmick too. Was that any good?
I don't remember Wade Barrett winning King of the Ring.
And then King Sheamus won it.
Yeah, Sheamus, forgettable. But King Corbin.
That was I didn't hate that, but they just didn't really take him seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously as a king. But yeah, fuck that noise they're talking about. King Booker's probably the best king in the ring ever.
King Booker. Hear ye, hear ye. I love how he would go from his little he'd go from his accent to being ghetto as hell.
That was good.
He would
Charmel used to do it too, though, right? Charmel
Yeah.
used to get
Charmel
ratchet
would
when she
come out
needed to.
fucking, she would do her little queenly curtsy or whatever. Like they were all bought into it. They even had fucking what's my guy with the shillelagh?
Finley, yeah, Finley.
Finley and William Regal, which were two perfect people to have as the King's Court.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Oh
yeah.
my god, I'm about to have to go back and watch all that shit again.
Hey man, that's a perfect way to kick the weekend off. Throw that on Saturday morning or something. Just reminisce.
Throw that shit on while I'm packing the rest of my place up. It's funny that we bring up King Booker because I was just reading about Booker T and Batista getting into that fight at the commercial shoot, and Booker T. Reports are Booker T whooped Batista's ass, and then Batista ended up winning the world title because Book had some heat on him because Batista was one of the top guys. But from everything I've ever heard anybody say, Booker T whooped his ass. I like Batista, but
well, Booker came from the streets, man. Did time back in the day.
I think we've talked about it on here. There's three people that from listening to all these wrestlers talk that you don't want to fuck with. That's Booker T, Haku, and
I was gonna say Meng. You just said him, Haku, and then I didn't hear about Ron Simmons though.
Oh no, boy, Ron Simmons beat your motherfucking ass. You know, Ron Simmons, a Hall of Fame football player, and Ron Simmons was one of the ones that when you hear like Mark Henry and people like that talk about Ron Simmons, it almost like their voice changes. Like the respect that they got for that man. That I would love to interview Ron Simmons, honestly. I've talked to him a couple times, and he's real cool, like talking to him, but I'd love to interview him. I don't know. I don't even think he does like interviews and shit like that.
I'm gonna research that. I'm sure he probably won't be that hard to maybe in contact with.
I don't even think he has a Twitter account.
I can see that. Man, this old school cat, man. He's like in his 60s now. I'm sure he probably does that.
He's probably been on like a Stone Cold podcast or something like that, but I don't think he's done like just podcasts with regular fucking podcasters.
He might still have that Legends contract. Maybe he can't.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway, EJ, if that's all you got, man, we'll get up out of here. I got another podcast I'm about to go be a part of. Going to be a guest on a Dallas Cowboys podcast, so that'll be fun.
Make sure to shit on Jerry Jones for me.
Oh man, I gotta ask the guy first. Can I cuss on here if he asks about Jerry Jones? But yeah, if you ain't got anything else, man, we'll get up out of here.
I hope I don't got anything on my end.
We appreciate all the listeners as usual. Thanks to everybody for sticking with us, even though we missed a week. Yeah, that's pretty much all the announcements I got. Next week we'll be back doing King of the Ring and Double or Nothing predictions. Until then, for EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Peace.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put it, dude.